This person truly loves you, and the first sign of it is not what they say, but what begins to change inside them. Love, when it is real, does not remain on the surface of personality. It descends. It enters the hidden corridors of the psyche, where fears sleep and old wounds whisper. When someone truly loves you, your presence becomes an event in their inner world. Something rearranges itself quietly. Old defenses grow fragile. Long-standing certainties begin to tremble. They may not even understand what is happening to them, yet they feel it, a subtle but undeniable shift, as if a door has opened in a house they have lived in all their life but never fully explored. You must understand that real love is never casual. It is never merely a preference among many options. It is an encounter with the unknown. When this person looks at you, they are not only seeing your face or hearing your voice, they are encountering parts of themselves they had forgotten. You awaken memories they cannot trace, emotions they cannot name. In your laughter they hear echoes of something ancient. In your silence they feel a pull that is deeper than desire. It is recognition. True love begins in recognition, not recognition of perfection, but recognition of familiarity within mystery. You feel strangely known to them. They may stare a moment longer than necessary. They may grow quiet around you, not because they lack words, but because words seem too small to contain what moves within them. In your presence, they are confronted with their own depths, and this confrontation is both beautiful and terrifying. When someone truly loves you, they begin to face their shadow. The shadow is the part of the self that has been rejected, denied, or hidden away. Most people live comfortably without confronting it. They build identities around safety, around control, around the image they wish to present to the world. But love disrupts this arrangement. Your presence exposes contradictions. It reveals insecurities. It touches wounds they thought were healed. Suddenly they feel vulnerable in ways they never allowed before. They may become restless. They may question themselves. They may feel jealousy or fear without wanting to. These emotions do not arise because love is weak, but because it is powerful. Love threatens the ego's illusion of independence. To truly love someone is to admit that you matter, that your happiness can influence their inner balance. And that admission requires courage. This person's love for you is not built on fantasy. It is built on transformation. Notice how they try to improve themselves around you, not to impress you superficially, but to become worthy of the connection they feel. They reflect on their habits. They reconsider their choices. They strive, sometimes awkwardly, to grow. Growth is the natural consequence of real love, because love exposes potential. When they see you, they see a future version of themselves, braver, kinder, more authentic. You become a mirror in which they glimpse their higher self. There are moments when they withdraw. Do not mistake this for indifference. Often, when love is deep, the psyche needs time to integrate its intensity. The soul cannot expand without tension. They step back not to escape you, but to understand what you mean to them. Within that distance, they wrestle with fears: fear of rejection, fear of inadequacy, fear of losing control. And yet, no matter how far they wander in thought, they return. Something in them always returns. Observe their attention. Real love carries a quality of presence. When you speak, they listen beyond your words. They remember small details. They sense your moods even. When you conceal them, their intuition sharpens around you. This is not obsession. It is attunement. The psyche, when invested, becomes perceptive. You occupy space in their mind not because they choose to think of you constantly, but because their unconscious has woven you into its fabric. They may not declare their love dramatically. In fact, the deeper the love, the more sacred it feels, and sacred things are rarely shouted. Instead, it appears in quiet gestures, concern in their voice, patience in their waiting, restraint in their anger. Even when conflicts arise, Notice how they struggle not to hurt you. True love resists cruelty. It seeks understanding even in disagreement. They may fail at times because they are human, but remorse follows quickly. Indifference does not. This person truly loves you because they see you not only as you are, but as you are becoming. They hold space for your contradictions. They do not demand perfection. In your vulnerability, they do not feel superiority. They feel tenderness. Your wounds do not repel them. They awaken compassion. When you reveal your fears, something protective arises within them, not controlling, but supportive. They want you to flourish, even in ways that do not directly benefit them. Love of this kind alters time. Moments with you feel expanded, almost suspended. Hours may pass unnoticed, or minutes may carry unusual intensity. The psyche measures meaning differently than the clock. Where meaning is present, time deepens. After you part, they replay conversations, not because they are unsure, but because the experience continues to resonate. Love extends beyond physical presence. It inhabits memory vividly. There is also longing. Longing is not weakness. It is evidence of attachment forming at a profound level. They miss you in subtle ways, a thought while working, a memory while listening to music, a cry to smile when something reminds them of you. Longing reveals value. We do not long for what is trivial. We long for what has become part of us. Understand that real love involves risk. By loving you, they expose themselves to potential pain. They cannot control your feelings. They cannot guarantee permanence. Yet they move toward you anyway. This movement, despite uncertainty, is courage. It is the psyche choosing connection over isolation. It is the soul choosing expansion over safety. Sometimes they may appear conflicted. Part of them desires closeness, another part fears it. This inner tension is not a sign of absence of love, but evidence of its depth. When love is superficial, it flows easily because little is at stake. When love is real, it challenges identity. It asks them to surrender old narratives, the belief that they must remain guarded, self-sufficient, untouched. You invite them into intimacy, and intimacy demands authenticity. They begin to reveal parts of themselves they do not show others, stories from childhood, regrets, dreams they have never voiced. Vulnerability is the language of true love. To open one's inner world is to say, without words, "You matter enough for me to be real." Notice how their tone softens when conversations grow personal. Notice how eye contact lingers. These are not rehearsed performances. They are spontaneous expressions of trust forming. When someone truly loves you, your happiness becomes meaningful to them. They feel uplifted when you succeed. Your joy energizes them. And when you are troubled, they feel unsettled, not because they seek drama, but because empathy binds your emotional worlds together. Love synchronizes inner climates. If you are distant, they sense it. If you are radiant, they notice. They become attentive to your emotional weather. There is also patience in real love. They do not rush you to define everything instantly. They allow space for unfolding. Love recognizes that depth cannot be forced. It matures gradually, like roots growing beneath soil before any visible tree appears. They are willing to wait because what they feel is not impulsive desire. It is conviction forming quietly. You may wonder how to be certain. Certainty in matters of the soul rarely arrives as absolute proof. Instead, it appears as consistency. Observe the pattern of their behavior over time. Do they return? Do they remain steady even when circumstances shift? Do they show up when it is inconvenient? True love persists. It does not vanish at the first sign of difficulty. It adapts, but it does not disappear. This person truly loves you because you have become integrated into their inner narrative. When they imagine the future, you appear naturally within it. They consider your perspective when making decisions. They feel responsible, not in a burdensome way, but in a meaningful one. Responsibility here is not obligation. It is care expressed through foresight. Their love may not always be perfectly expressed. They may struggle with communication. They may fear overwhelming you. They may hesitate before confessing fully, aware that such vulnerability cannot be undone. But beneath hesitation lies depth. Beneath silence lies intensity. Sometimes the strongest feelings are the hardest to articulate because they carry the weight of authenticity. Love, in its truest form, seeks wholeness. Through you, they confront themselves. They see their strengths and their flaws more clearly. You become both comfort and catalyst. This dual role defines transformative love. It soothes, yet it challenges. It accepts, yet it inspires growth. They are drawn not only to how you make them feel, but to who they become around you. If you look closely, you will notice that their actions align with your well-being. They respect your boundaries. They listen when you express discomfort. They adjust. Adjustment is a profound sign of love because it reflects willingness to evolve. The ego resists change. Love invites it. This person's love is not loud, but it is deep. It may not always be dramatic, but it is steady. It may not be flawless, but it is sincere. In their quiet moments, when no one is watching, your name surfaces in their thoughts, not as an escape, but as a presence. You have become part of their internal dialogue, part of their sense of meaning, and in the depths of their psyche, beyond pride and beyond fear, there is a simple truth they may struggle to voice but cannot deny. You matter profoundly to them, not as an object to possess, not as an image to display, but as a soul whose existence has altered the architecture of their inner world, whose presence has awakened dormant chambers of feeling, whose absence would leave an unmistakable silence within the corridors of their being, whose smile carries the power to soften their harshest defenses, whose pain stirs their instinct to protect and nurture, whose growth inspires them to confront their own limitations, whose authenticity invites them to shed their masks, whose imperfections make them feel less alone in their own, whose touch lingers in memory long after it fades from skin, whose voice echoes in the quiet spaces of their night, whose dreams gradually intertwine with their own until separation feels unnatural, whose essence has become woven into the subtle, invisible threads of their becoming, shaping not only what they desire, but who they are striving to be, altering their choices in ways they themselves are only beginning to understand, guiding them toward a deeper integration of self, where love is no longer a fleeting emotion, but a transformative force that redefines their identity from within.